Okay, good morning, everyone. I think we can now start with our last day of induction. And as I always like to do this, how are we feeling today? No feeling. And people who are tired of the third day of working call. How else are we feeling? Exhausted, tired. I already have two people that I have to replace. Okay. What other feeling do we have? Optimism. I have one person to keep. Um, I have a few questions or jokes. Doesn't it depends on how you want to take it. Here's the first one. Why do Python developers wear glasses? Because they can't see. I know it's gonna take some time. Well, I think the problem is that one is went over the head. Okay. Okay, settle down. Settle down. Because they can't see. Some are gonna get it at 3 a.m. in the morning. All right. And then the second question that I have is why do skeletons never fight each other? Because they don't have the because they don't have guts. Still don't get it. You'll get it someday.
Nobody got it.
Nope.
You get it?
He said it.
Just bodies, nobody got you.
No guts. Since Waki, do you want to present on your side or should I? I think let's try it from your side. What do you think?
Okay.
All right. Okay, sorry, I did not get that. All right. Morning, everyone. We're gonna continue with third day of induction. Today's one is gonna be pretty short. We have three items on the menu today. Number one, we're gonna speak to our Sinswaki, and she's going to speak to us about managing a brand. She's our marketing coordinator or marketing manager or head of marketing. And she's responsible for the image with which we are viewed by the world. And then secondly, we're gonna speak to Nico about placements. How are you going to find yourself placement eligible? How do you qualify to be placed? And all of that. And then lastly, we're gonna speak to Ru, and I think Ru is on her way here. She's the director of public partnerships, and she's gonna tell us about how we came about having these partnerships with these TVET colleges and what's the future of that. Okay, right. It might be a short day if you allow it to be. Um, okay. Can you try again, Zoki? I think we did see something.
So I can share, but I can't full screen on my side. I think there's limitations on the presentation.
All those limitations.
Yeah.
Let me do that quickly.
Mpo, can you share? Can you see if you can share?
I will try. Let me see.
You should always try. Or some people are still talking about the Python joke. I'm hearing yes. See the language. All right. Are you winning or should I take over?
I think you should try. Ah, there we go.
Can you see?
Yeah. we can see. Just scroll up to my section. I think it was moved to the top.
Okay, sorry. There we go.
Hello, everyone. Can somebody just give me edit access to the slide deck quickly?
Cool.
All right.
Next slide. I think we can just start on the next slide. Perfect. So, as Jay mentioned, my name is Nzaki. I am marketing manager here at Weave Code. And basically all my work just involves making sure that the brand is kept in good light. I handle all PR, social media, brand management, help out with events, biggest one being graduation. So I hope this time next year we'll be talking about you graduating. But yeah, essentially that's what I do. I work very closely with the placements team, which is important, and also the commercials team, just to ensure that all the campaigns that we run to bring in partners and to also bring very intelligent human beings like yourselves into Within Code. Yeah, so I'm just going to take you through a couple of slides. I won't be too long, just to tell you what happens in and around the Within Code brand and how we just need to carry ourselves from this moment going forward to ensure that the relationship you have with Within Code is a lasting one. We can go to the next slide. So I think I just want to start by giving you what the purpose of Within Code is, the mission and the vision. Within Code's purpose is to shift Africa from consumption to the creation of tech by enabling tech talent from previously untapped sources with the skills to unlock their potential. Our mission is to close the skills gap in the digital sector and prepare the youth to participate in the economy, giving us a more diverse and inclusive tech industry. And so I think what's important here is to always remember that as Within Code, or as you step into Within Code, you always need to make sure that you remember that it's not always about you. We try to keep all our students happy, but you need to remember that we are a community and a very big ecosystem. So all your actions in one way or another are related to how partners come in, are related to how our relationships with our stakeholders also continue. So always ensure that in however you're presenting yourself as a Within Code student, that it's always in a good light, just to ensure that our partners stay being our partners, and that also we can get more partners come on board and make sure that we continue the work that we do going forward. So within that, we can go to the second slide, or the third slide. So just to also remember that within this ecosystem, we have hiring partners, we have collaboration stakeholders, we have sponsoring partners, we have the staff, we have your fellow students as well, and other students who are still out there trying to get into Within Code. And so you're not alone. And we just always need to remember to treat each other with respect, to treat our partners with respect, especially I think because you guys are in the TVET campuses, that we are literally being borrowed time and resources from those stakeholders so that we can create more campuses around or across the country. And so we always need to make sure that we treat those people with respect, because they could shut us down at any time if they wanted to. And so we always try to make sure those relationships are always intact. So please just make sure that you're not in any kind of unnecessary drama with any stakeholders, because it does have a great effect on how partner relationships are doing going forward. And I think Rue later on will definitely touch on those things. Yeah, so we can go to the next slide. Click again. There we go. So just to be mindful of a few things while you are here, you are at the start of a very long 16-month journey. And so you're more than welcome to, document your thoughts, your journey, your memories online. I'm sure some of you have seen multiple of YouTube videos from other students and alumni that have been through this journey. And so you're completely allowed to do that. We actually want you to do that because it gives us a good name as well when you kind of show how this whole process goes. But with that, I prefer that you do it within the grounds of being respectful of the We Think Code logo and brand, um, to be respectful of fellow colleagues, fellow students, and the staff that helps you out here at We Think Code. And then also, one thing I want to mention is as part of the marketing team, I have students on the ground in each campus. Currently, I have them in Joburg and Cape Town who help me out with a lot of content creation because I can't be at all the campuses at once. So there will be a notification, hopefully, that goes out probably within the next month. So if you'd want to be a content creator as part of the Content Club team, you're more than welcome to apply for that role. And just be part of creating the content that makes us look nice online. Yeah, but the team will get in touch for that. And with that said, also, when you do your personal projects, which is something that Mpo will touch on, please refrain from using the brand or the logo without permission, especially the logos of our partners. We're not part of those marketing teams, and they are very strict with how their brand is being portrayed online. So if you just get a simple yes, no for any kind of personal things that you're doing, you can always ask Mpo, hey Mpo, for my portfolio, is this great or not so great? She'll give you the guidance of how to go about that. We just try to make sure that we're not messing with our partner brands as well. And then another important thing is that all your grievances and issues and concerns and problems, please make sure you follow the right internal processes to address those. If you don't, and you are there going off on Twitter because you think, it's going to get you the engagement, it'll get you the engagement for one day. But after that, you've ruined your relationship with We Think Code. You've ruined your relationship possibly with the sponsor of your studies. And now there's no way that we can fix that. Please make sure you follow whatever issues you have internally. If you're not getting satisfactory results, speak to someone else within the We Think Code team. Everyone is open to listen to what you have to say, but again, with respect. But if you are out here going off on Twitter thinking that it's gonna allow you, I don't know, that 5 minute shine, it's really not. Nothing good ever comes from that. And I'd prefer that we don't do that. Because again, that attention is only gonna last you for a few days or hours maximum. And then you're back with your problem not being solved, with your relationship with We Think Code being tarnished. Any hiring opportunities that you may have may also be tarnished. So always just think about the effects that are going to happen with the actions that you take. And again, our partners do take these things seriously. So if you're out there tagging them on unnecessary posts that have got nothing to do with them, and then they notify us of that, it's also going to be a problem. So again, please make sure that all your internal grievances are followed internally, right? But I also did want to mention that you're going to be part of a lot of events and hackathons and all of these great things. If, for instance, BBD is a sponsor of that certain event or hackathon, great, you can tag them. It's part of that event. They are a sponsor. It's okay, right? But anything that has to do with any problems that you may have with We Think Code has got nothing to do with them. That is an issue you need to solve with the internal team. Cool. Next slide. From this year, I think Rue again or Chris, if he's gonna speak anytime today, will touch on this. That we've been very lenient with students in the past who have tarnished our brand online, who've gone and said the most craziest and ridiculous things, but still expect us to work with them. Any negative online engagements will be taken very seriously. And we are not going to compromise on the disciplinary action that will be followed if you are suspected of putting our brand or the brand of our partners in disrepute. We've lost many client relationships because students are just not willing to be fair in these situations because they think they can be terrorists and negotiate with us in a very terrorist way. This will not only jeopardize your hiring opportunities, your sponsorship opportunities, it will also tarnish those of the fellow students that are around you. So if we wake up tomorrow and we lose a partner and now we can't sponsor half of your cohort, it's going to be a problem. So please make sure that you think about the consequences of your actions and how that is a domino effect to other things that are going on behind the scenes. And also, the internet never forgets, guys. Like, the people will remember you. You'll go for a job interview one day and someone will be like, hey, weren't you the one that caused the ruckus on Twitter? The people know this, the people are online. And I think Umpo will also touch on how you just have to always keep a certain type of standard when it comes to what you put online because it does affect your hiring opportunities that come through. But I just really wanted to touch on that. But also to say that you guys are going to have a very interesting 16 months and to just take advantage of that, right? Take the right opportunities, be part of the hackathons, be part of the events, be part of being the mentors if you get an opportunity or anything like that. And just make it fun for yourselves, make it respectful. And I can promise you the people who go on to achieve greater things are those who really did take the opportunity. And yeah, I think those are kind of the last words that I want to leave you with a little bit of a motivation video from Nike. Before you can go to the next slide. I hope it plays for all the students. Cool. Yeah.
Listen up, babies. Life's not fair. You get no say in the world you're born into. You don't decide your name. You don't decide where you come from. You don't decide if you have a place to call home, or if your whole family has to leave the country. Yeah, it's messed up. You don't decide how the world judges a person like you. You don't decide how your story begins, but you do get to decide how it ends. Yes!
Love it. Thanks, Mpo. I love that video. I am going on maternity in literally 2 days, so I won't get to interact with a lot of you during this time. But when I'm back in June, we'll have all the time to just yeah, interact and see how this journey unfolds for everyone. Good luck. And again, take this opportunity and just run with it. Bye.
Tunes are key. Um, You already exposed us, Mpo, but it's fine. So next up, Mpo is going to tell you more about how to be not graduate, how to be placement eligible. Um, you might want to listen very carefully before you can do what Swaki just said and tarnish our names on Twitter. Just make sure that you know how you can put yourself in a place where you are easily placed. Okay, pun intended. Mpo?
Yes. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm just trying to get to my slide. There you go. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mputi Pito. I did introduce myself on Monday. So I am the placements lead here at We Think Code, and I'm going to walk you through being work ready, what is being placements eligible, and what we as placements team do for you during your journey here at We Think Code. So placements is a department that comes into your lives around 6 months before you complete the program. A lot of what we do is to make sure that you are work ready, interview ready, and make sure that you are a good enough candidate to go out onto internship and go and work as software developers in all the amazing companies that have partnered with us or who would like We Think Code candidates. So just to walk you through, you all would have signed a contract when you started We Think Code. So just to take you through, what are your contractual obligations to us as an organization? So when you are done, I feel like you guys have seen that little timeline of what you do. When you complete the program, you should be able to go onto a 4-month work placement at the end of second year. So for most of you, that would be around June of 2026, June, July of 2026, when you do complete the program. In those 4 months, that's obviously with either a partner who may have taken you, sponsor who might take you after you do interview and you are successful, you go out onto a 4-month internship. They aren't always 4 months, but they can be 6 months. And after that, you get a permanent offer. You might get a permanent offer depending on your performance at your internship. And you need to work back 1 year at that particular organization. We ask that you do stay with the organizations where you get a placement for the 4 months, and if you are absorbed, to continue to stay for a year, because that builds a long relationship with the partner that you are placed with. And you also represent us when you are at that organization. So just to make sure that we can sustain the relationships that we have built internally and make sure that you guys are able to sustain those relationships when you are on internship. And the big thing is remembering that you guys are now ambassadors of We Think Code. As Nzwaki mentioned, you are our brand now. You represent us. So anything that you go and do when you are on internship directly reflects on us as We Think Code. We have situations where we have students who go on to internship and it seems like they don't understand what it is to be an employee of an organization. Meanwhile, we know that performance team ops, myself, Zwaki, have put in the efforts to make sure that you understand what it is for you guys, what it is that you guys need to do when you become software developers at these organizations. So you'll feel like you want to show up late to work the same way you used to show up late to campus. You feel like you're going to go and submit late any projects or tasks that you're given at work, just because you picked up those bad habits when you are a student. You forget how to submit leave when you know those are the processes that you've learned at We Think Code. We always say that We Think Code is a very work simulated environment. So it gives you that kind of simulation of what it's like when you do go to work. The 8 hours a day that you do on campus, the 40 hours that you do, is exactly what you're going to do when you go to work one day. Some of you may have worked, some of you may have not. But you understand, you clock in at 8, you leave at 4, or you clock in at 9, you leave at 5. Exactly what you do here, so why can't you do it when you get to the workplace? Same here at We Think Code. You submit a leave request, you submit your sick notes. When you are off on campus, you inform your technical mentors, your performance lead or campus team that unfortunately my taxi broke down or my car broke down. I'm going to be late to campus today, which is exactly what you would need to do when you go to work. So we ask that in these 16 months when you are at We Think Code, please build up the good habits that are necessary for you to be a good ambassador for us and a good employee for the organizations that you are going to. Nothing is worse than having a partner come back and tell us that, oi, your kids are, or the We Think Code students don't know how to join a team meeting on time. They seem like they want to join 5 minutes after the call has started. Meanwhile, you should know how to do that. Your candidate that you present to us sent an email to the wrong person and they didn't put a greeting. They put the entire email in the subject line. You know, we want to make sure that you guys are as professional as you possibly can be. And when you guys are good ambassadors of We Think Code, that really does show, because we get people who come forward to us and say that, hey, I met one of your students when I was at a hackathon or I was at a particular network event and I saw how well they did or how well they spoke. I was really interested in getting to know where's this organization that these lovely candidates come from. And you are the reason why people come back and approach us. So remember, your brand and who you are outside of We Think Code really does reflect and impact us. So going on to preparing for work placements. So as I mentioned, we do a lot of workshops with you. So what we ask is, please, as you are submitting, make sure you're delivering your coursework on time. It will make life so much easier when you go to work. You'll know how to manage your deadlines. You'll know how to do what you need to do, and understand that at a certain point when you need help, you will ask for it here, so that when you get to work, you'll also know that, okay, I am 3 days into this 5-day task. I really am stuck. I've only done 10%. I should probably start informing my line manager that, okay, this task might be delivered late or I need some sort of intervention. We also have partner days. So partner days are days where we will ask people who are maybe looking to hire candidates from We Think Code, or who are just looking for some sort of exposure of their companies, to present to you as candidates of our program, just so that you understand the different career paths that you can go onto within the tech space. Because it doesn't mean you'll always end up as a software developer. You could become a test analyst, you could become an automation analyst, a business analyst, anything within the tech space, so that you're exposed to the different things that you could do. We also have interview readiness workshops. So those will run for about 3 months with you guys, where we're preparing you on what it is you need to do, what types of interviews you could get, the types of recruitment processes you could encounter, the different organizations that you could interview for, because you don't always get one set of interview. There are companies that literally just want a culture fit interview to see whether you are a fit for that organization. Some want a technical interview where they'll make you write code within a specific space. Some companies do a culture fit interview, a tech interview, as well as a technical assessment, just to get a gist of who you are. Some do one-on-one interviews, some do panel interviews. So we'll just give you an overview, an outline of the types of interviews you'll get, the types of questions you could get asked, and preparing you to answer those questions effectively so that you guys can get those jobs. Because we're in the business of making sure that you guys are good enough candidates that when you go into these interviews, your chances of getting a yes are very high. We'll also have mock interviews. So mock interviews will be where we'll get either volunteers within the We Think Code staff base, or external volunteers who will then have a mock interview with you. So that will be a simulated interview where they'll have questions prepared and you'll have to prepare for it as if you're going to an actual job interview. You'll get ranked, scored, they'll give feedback which will provide for you so that you can implement when you are preparing for your interviews, just to know that at that stage in time, what is your success rate of actually making it through an interview. And then you'll also have interviews and placements. So for you, interviews generally start around a month before you're about to complete the program, with companies that come forward saying that they are looking for candidates. We will make sure to effectively prepare you. Humutsu does a lot of pre-interview check-ins with you guys. So if you eventually do get shortlisted for an interview, she'll have a meeting with you just to go over your job description, to tell you when to join particular interviews, how to present yourself, just a little refresher to make sure that you're as confident as you possibly can be for when you do go into your interviews. And then should you then be successful, you go into your placements. So when you are placed, we will also have another workshop with you just before you go onto your placement to make sure that you are prepared and understand what it is required of you when you do start your job. We will have a check-in with you while you are on placement. We also check in with the partner that you're placed with just to see how you are performing. So we get feedback from both you as a student and from the partner, just so that we can gauge and level, is there anything we should be addressing, or are you doing well, and what you should be doing when you are there. And a very big note, you need to be eligible for placements. So a very big one is that placement isn't guaranteed. If you fail the program, please know that we cannot place you as you did not successfully complete the program. So that is a very key one. If you do not complete within code or are not grad eligible, we cannot place you. And then from there, placement isn't guaranteed. Again, our main job as placements is to make sure we can assist you in becoming work ready. So be sure that your LinkedIn profiles look good enough for when someone is looking at your profile to say that, hey, I actually want to interview this particular individual. Making sure that you are prepared enough for an actual interview so that you can best present yourself within that interview opportunity that you're given. And then also to make sure that you are ready for the workplace should you then be successful within your interview when your profile is selected and you are successful, right? That is a very, very big thing. So again, placement is not guaranteed. We work as hard as we possibly can to try and find as many placement opportunities for all of you. But a very big part of us is to make sure that you have the skills and are equipped with the tools that make you a successful and a good candidate for any organization that may come forward looking for a candidate. So we'll be working with a lot of placement eligibility criteria. So we'll be looking at a number of factors around you as an individual when you do get into placement season. So we will definitely be tracking your conduct and engagement on campus or throughout your journey at Within Code. So when it comes to performance, a very big thing is checking that you are actually graduation eligible. As I mentioned, we cannot place a student who is not graduation eligible. So that is a very big criteria. And then we'll also be tracking your performance marks as to how you ranked within the cohort. Where are you? Are you excelling? Are you on par? Were you below par? How did you perform as just a general technical student of Within? Big overview on just your conduct within performance. Because again, you're going into very technical roles, so we would expect you to be technically competent when you do go into the jobs that you should be able to get into at the end. We'll also be looking at your campus attendance. Similar to, as I mentioned, when you go to work, you have to be able to submit your leave if you're not on campus. Are you on campus? Were you diligent enough to come every day? And on the days that you weren't here, did you notify anyone? Just the kind of conduct that you have as an individual. Then placements participation. Again, we will be checking, do you attend our workshops? Were you present? Were you engaging? After each workshop, we generally have an activity. So when we teach you about LinkedIn profiles, one of the activities is making sure that you can actually generate a LinkedIn profile and that you implemented what we had asked for. So we'll have you submit your LinkedIn profiles to us, and then you'll have a peer-to-peer review session. So did you get reviewed? Did you review another individual? And we will be checking those off to see did you actually submit those on time. So we are very strict with, if we said the deadline was 5 and you submitted it at 5:01, it's late and we don't consider it as a submission. So we're going to be very strict, and we will notify you when we see that your submissions are late or a task is incomplete. And then, did you participate in the mock interview? So if you didn't attend, it's a 0. It's taken as a non-attendance. And if you participated, then reviewing as to what was your outcome. And all of these will have weighting. So as I've mentioned, that we do come into life. So by the time we start working with you in around January, you will have a very big overview of what it is that we definitely require of you and what is the ranking and the weighting of all the activities we do with you. And then what we've noticed is that a whole rounded individual isn't just what you do at We Think Code. A lot of the things that make a candidate stand out is beyond We Think Code and beyond the things you did here. What else did you do to make sure you were involved in the tech industry? So, did you participate in hackathons? Those are things that we're going to monitor. You can let us know that, hey, I signed up for a hackathon this weekend. This is when it's happening, just so we know, and then you can give us your progress as to how you did. But making sure that you guys are actually actively involved if you're attending industry talks, things like that. And then portfolios. Portfolios are a very big thing. So aside from what you did here, are you actually working on like your own portfolio website, which shows who you are, what you've done, links to your various projects, anything that you've built? Do you have a GitHub repo? I'm pretty sure those are things that you guys will get to know during your time at We Think Code. Are you actually creating projects outside of the curriculum and making sure that you're upskilling yourself beyond the We Think Code program? Because again, companies want people who are actually passionate about the tech industry and are actually passionate about upskilling themselves. So are you doing those? So we will definitely encourage you, be it Jay or the performance team, for you guys to actually create those portfolios as you are still a student of We Think Code. For you guys, you still have what now, 16, 14 months to actually get those started. So if you want to go and create a calculator app or calculator code base in Python, go and do that. It always starts with small things. Partners prioritize not just having one big project that you built, but little projects that you contributed to throughout your time. Those are the things that form into you being a good candidate. So the placement process goes as follows. What will happen is companies generally approach us or we reach out to them. And so a company will submit their information to us. And then they will let us know what type of candidate they're looking for. So you guys will be able to create your own profile on our placement system where you will enter your information, the tech stack that you have. So we know that some of you have prior experience, some of you have worked on code before and have learned other skills outside of We Think Code. So if you know that you know Java, TypeScript, PHP, JavaScript, what are the nice things that come up? Node.js, Django, whatever it is, you will put in all those skills onto your profile within the placement system. Then we will then, based on the criteria that the partner provides us with, put the post out. You guys will then apply for it, then send off that shortlist to the partners to say, okay, of this job spec, these are the students who have applied for it. They will then shortlist the candidates that they feel they would like to interview. So again, partners are the ones who choose who they want to interview. They have an overview of each of you. So what they do see is your name. They will see the tech stack that you put in onto the placement system, which is why we tell students to make sure that it is as thorough as it possibly can be. They will see the LinkedIn profile that we worked very hard to make sure is as great as it needs to be. If you add your GitHub repo or any personal links, they will also have visibility over that, and your CVs that you put onto the system that we also help you generate as well. And then from there, they'll shortlist who they want to interview. Then we will then communicate with you to say, okay, hi, Shafiq, Johannes, Busang, you've been shortlisted for an interview with company X. Fomotso will then go and schedule the interviews on your behalf, have that pre-interview check-in with you. If any of you are successful, then you'll begin your 4 to 6 month work placement at that organization. Again, you are the driver of whether or not you get a permanent position at the organizations that you get an internship in. Also, you are the driver of whether or not you're successful in your interview. Some of you don't prepare for interviews. We've noticed that with candidates that they're actually very nonchalant. They don't prepare, they don't practice, they don't dress well, they show up late, they don't have the proper equipment. We are here to help you. So if you know you have an interview, drop us an email. Hi, Khomotso. Hi, Mpo. I have an interview. I don't have a facility at home. I'd like to do it on campus. If you are like in the stage where you are graduated from We Think Code and you're out, We are more than happy to accommodate you when you come onto campus to make sure that you have the best opportunity. When you go out and you work, if you do what you need to do, you go above and beyond, and you show that organization that you are a candidate and you would fit so well with that organization, the likelihood of converting your internship into a permanent placement is very high. But that all depends on you and how badly you want it. We've seen candidates who, like in the program, maybe they weren't as technical as they possibly could be, but they managed to get that internship opportunity. And when they were there, they put their head down, they had that grit, they had that drive, and they made sure that they showed that organization that I belong here and I deserve that permanent position, because they put in the work and the effort to show them why they should keep that person as a permanent employee of those organizations. So remember that there's only so much that myself, Khomotso, the performance team can do for you. It's up to you to make sure that you can be the software developers or the techies that you want to be in industry. And when you are on internship, we do check-ins with you. As I said, we get feedback from both you and the partner that you're at, just to see how you're doing and your progress. So we think Code partners with a broad spectrum of partners. We also have people who aren't sponsors necessarily, but do see candidates from our organization. So I can say a very big company that has taken in a lot of students in the most recent years is MTN. MTN started with 25 last year. Then they took in 15 mid-year last year, and this year, at the beginning of the year, the 25 who started with them as interns in January of 2024 are actually permanent employees now at MTN. This year, MTN also took 40 interns at the beginning of 2025. Vodacom is a partner that does come back and hire Rethink Code candidates. We also have your ABSAs, your Mukurus, who look for candidates within the financial services. We also have foundations that partner with us. There are a lot of disruptors that also hire from Rethink Code. But the main ones are your telcos, your financial services, as well as your tech consultancies. So I think you'll see that BBD is one of Rethink Code's longest partners, as well as hiring partner. They've placed over 200 candidates within their organization or taken interns there. Every year, we always have candidates that go to BBD. So also have StructureIt and QLink who take candidates from Rethink Code. And besides the ones that aren't listed here, guys, we have a lot of companies that just approach us and say that I have this technical vacancy within my organization and I'm looking to fill it. Do you have any candidates available? So there are the opportunities that come forward, but again, we don't always stop you guys from trying to find your own placement. If you feel like maybe you would also like to apply for jobs, that's fine. All we ask is for transparency in those moments. So if you know you've applied for some grad program towards the end of your time at Rethink Code and you actually got accepted for it, all you need to do is inform Khomotso and I, because we need to be able to record where you are at that moment in time. And nothing is worse than trying to place someone who's already placed themselves, which means now there's a candidate who never got the opportunity to be shortlisted because your name was on that list when it shouldn't have been, had you just told us that you found a placement opportunity. So as much as when you ask us, we're as transparent as we possibly can be, we ask that you guys are that transparent with us and inform us that, hi, Khomotso Mpo, I have a placement at this particular organization. You can take me out of the placement pool. And all we ask is for you guys to then just provide us with a confirmation of employment from that organization. Because again, we don't want to report on things that might be false, right? So that's all. So as much as we work to try and place you, we don't stop you from trying to find your own placement as well. We just ask for visibility to let us know where it is that you are placed, your term, and what is your particular role at that organization. So I think that's my last slide. So we're here to support you, both Khomotso and I. We want to make sure that you guys are as good a candidate as you can be. We're not going to try and make sure that none of you are placement eligible. Like if every one of you could get a job, that would be the best thing that possibly happens. And Humut and I work very hard to make sure that you guys are as placement eligible as you possibly can be. But it's not just up to me and her, it's up to you guys making sure that you engage with us, that you participate with us, and that you actually absorb everything that we're trying to tell you. Because we're not only doing this because we think that that's what a company is looking for. We know that these are the things that companies are looking for based on who approaches us and based on how students are placed. So I definitely wish you all the best with your We Think Code journey. I look forward to seeing you guys. CJC is not that far, so maybe I'll pass by at some point. But I do wish you all the best with your time at We Think Code.
Guys, I know
Sharing.
South Cape is also not social.
Can I stop sharing?
But don't worry. Yeah, you can stop sharing. Thank you for. All right. So as I said, it's Swaki before, and we were supposed to do now, but who is in a meeting, so we she just arrived. Okay. Yeah, let's have a bathroom break, and then when we come back, we'll speak to you. Like I said, 10 minutes. So let's come back at exactly 11. Thank you, Paul. Okay, let's settle down. Let's resume with the program of the day. This is gonna differentiate them. What are the differentiations? Oh, okay. Oh, it's over here. Thank you guys for coming back, and I'm hoping everyone is back at South Cape. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the lady that is responsible for us being in Tibet colleges, finding the space for you, finding the space that you at South Cape. Her name is Ru. She was my third boss. All right. A very serious introduction because obviously everyone works on the team within Briefing Code. But yeah, my name is Rubimbo. I actually want you to also hear from Chris, who's online. So I'll ask him to give an introduction because we're going to be just chatting about partnerships. So it's a good moment for you to also get to see who's behind the private partnership side of Briefing Code. And then I'll speak on the public partnerships. So we'll just zoom over to Chris if you're ready.
I'm always ready, Ruth. Thank you so much for the intro. So hi everyone, I am Chris, the private partnerships lead at We Think Code. So I sit more on the funding side of keeping the private campuses funded, but I also assist Rue, the placements team as well, to assist in getting funding for the public sector, ensuring that there are opportunities with a number of partners who place or take on our students for placements. So the main point of contact will more than likely be Rue as opposed to me. You might see me around here and there with a couple of partners. If you do see me around on campus with partners, you will be notified, but please just be respectful, be friendly, be welcoming, be warm, in terms of the engagements. Like I said, what will more than likely happen is you will get notified beforehand. So it's not just, oh, hey, we're on campus, and now all of a sudden we expect you to stop everything that you're doing. But yeah, from my side, I'm wishing you the best of luck. Please seize this opportunity with both hands and make it your own. And yeah, the future looks bright for you. We have a tried, tested, proven model. Yeah. That's all from my side. I'll then hand it back over to Rue.
Thank you, Chris. We're going to dive in. Show of hands. How many people have applied to Beacon Code before they got into this program? Can you repeat that again? Nope.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. We'll assume that South Cape was also participating in that time. How many people had worked before and stopped working at some point? So a little bit of work experience. How many people are fresh out of high school, so graduated in the last year, matriculated in the last year? And oh, that's actually the lowest number we have. And I think this is the last question. I just want to get a sense of who I'm speaking to here. Anyone who'd actually dabbled in tech at all, or yeah, a few people. Okay, so do you not know? Okay. I just wanted to get a sense of who's in the room. The whole point of Rethink Code partnering with TVET colleges is so that we can expand the opportunities to a broader base of students. And the partnership with TVET colleges came about because we've just been looking at the different stats that are coming out of TVET colleges in terms of graduation rates. We were looking at the curriculum that's actually being presented in terms of ICT within looking at the national mandates around making sure that digital skilling becomes a priority, and also the big one, looking at unemployment stats to make sure to see where exactly does South Africa stand in terms of employing young people. And there's a huge gap in terms of unemployment, as we all know, and a huge gap in terms of how many youth are skilled in comparison to the number of jobs that are available. So a quick study showed that about 44,000 digital skills, like entry-level digital skills, go unfilled on a year-to-year basis. And if you look at it, Rethink Code has only been recruiting, not only, it's an amazing thing, but we've been recruiting about 400 students annually, and we opened in 2015. So to date, we have about 1,500 or so graduates that are now working in employment. It doesn't begin to even touch on how many more we need to fill that 44,000 gap, right? So what's usually happening is we end up outsourcing talent and people are working remotely from outside of SA. And we're like, but then we've got an amazing opportunity to upskill our own youth who are based within the country, who are excellent and skilled, and you know how rigorous the boot camp was, who can do hard things. And so as Rethink Code decided, let's partner up with TB colleges who have a broad base of potential alumni. But in addition to that, they also are well funded from a government perspective, which is where our lean towards making sure we now partnering with the public sector comes in. It's very important for us to be able to collaborate and not compete in this space, because with their resources, we have a model that is working. We have an excellent curriculum that's been developed by industry experts, and we figured out how to train and place youth within the country. And so that's how this partnership came about. So on my side, I've been working with the team to make sure that we are opening up these opportunities with more and more colleges. The great win with CJC, you are our second cohort that is training on the CJC campus. In addition to that, the highest number of women, right? They've got the, yeah, so you've got the highest number of women from our college campuses, which is important for us because we already know there's a huge inequality gap when it comes to gender within the digital training space, within ICT industry overall. The other win with CJC is that you're the largest cohort. So it's a 60-person cohort, whereas before we were training 50, EWUC, which was the first to graduate, had 40. So that is also an amazing thing. And our collaboration with South Cape, which is starting training obviously within the same time as you, is also an exciting moment for us as Rethink Code, because South Cape is our first Western Cape based partner. And it took a lot to recruit because we had to try and start making our presence known within a complete new region. We had a big focus to try and make sure that we're recruiting from the garden route, because the success of the garden route economy from graduating Rethink Code students is a success that we can all celebrate. So it was very important for us to localize and make sure that we offered the opportunity within the garden route in partnership with South Cape TV College. So we're very excited about that one because it is meaning that we are expanding our footprint beyond Gauteng, and then beyond now, once we secure funding, we want to make sure we provide offerings to many more campuses nationally. So that's generally the history and how you guys are actually history makers with us of Rethink Code now planting itself within more spaces than our current campuses to date. So my role within this, as I said, is to make sure that we find the right partners with the right TVET colleges. We're currently making sure we're signing MOUs, this memorandum of understanding, to see which colleges are committed to journeying with us. We're also making sure that we are applying for more funding. So I did mention before, Chris is more focused on the private sector. I'm looking into public sector, government, looking to bridge relationships with the Department of Higher Education, making sure that players like the National Skills Fund come on board, looking into different ways that we can fund your stipends, because we do know there's a lot of money going into tertiary education coming from the SA government. So we want to make sure that we give you guys the best of both worlds in essence. I think even in line with that, trying to work out how do we then place, because obviously with a larger group of students, we are working on how to make sure we increase the number of placement opportunities. So we want to make sure that they're mixed between public and private, because you guys are the ones who build the solutions that make the most sense to the context. You know exactly what was happening in your home or in your community. And with the training that you get, I'm pretty sure there's quite a few digital solutions, technical solutions, software solutions that you'll be able to bring up that will be very useful for the country overall. So yeah, I think for me, I'm pretty excited that you guys have joined this journey. I look forward to all of you graduating at the end of the program. I know everyone continues to say how hard it is. It's difficult. There's a lot of people who will attest to that because we hire our own, but that's also because we believe in our talent. So yeah, I mean, I didn't actually give an intro of myself, but I'm based in Cape Town. So I don't come to Joburg as often as I'd like. So, but if you do see me next time, please don't forget to say hello. In that regard. I just wanted to give just an overview of how many people fund us, but I don't want to touch any case of race. Okay, so on the private partnerships side, we have a range of partners who fund a combination of your student tuition. So the reason why you are able to study without having to pay fees is courtesy of our amazing partners. And there's also a proportion of them who fund your stipend. So this is the model currently for our campuses within Cape Town and Joburg, so not the TVET campuses. They're mostly funded by private partnership, not private partnership funding. The companies that we've worked with over time are VCX, MTN, BBD Sage, Old Mutual, AXA, FNB Mkuru, Yoko, and Nagaro. And so over time, they've been the ones that have been supporting Leaf and Code from a financial perspective. And they've got a variety of requirements that we have to fulfill for them to then come on board. And I'll speak to a little bit of some of the obligations to make sure that we meet the different partner requirements in that regard. With the TVET colleges, they're funded very specifically by foundations and partners that are very motivated and interested in the social impact of the work that we're doing by partnering with TVET colleges. So the first cohort of CJC, the ones that finished in December, they were funded by ABSA Citizenship, the IDC, which is the Independent Development Corporation, as well as the Gauteng City Region Academy, which is the GCRA, and part of the Gauteng provincial government. For this cohort, you are funded by Standard Bank Tutua Foundation and JP Morgan Chase. So JP Morgan Chase is an international foundation, whereas we know Standard Bank, which is based here. And then for South Cape, you've been funded by the Caterpillar Foundation, also international, as well as D.G. Murray Trust, which is actually based in Cape Town. And so these foundations are very interested and motivated by the work that you're doing. They want to see how well does Rethink Code support students. We know a lot of people coming in from a variety of backgrounds, so they make sure that we incorporate stipend funding into these particular cohorts. For South Cape in particular, because it's a more remote location, they made sure that student accommodation was covered. So with South Cape, I think it's very important that you adhere to all the rules and policies within accommodation, so we don't compromise that relationship with South Cape going forward. And we will give a good review to our funders as well along that line. So yeah, the funders are amazing because we have a good relationship where we want to actually talk about how we can improve, what we can do to make sure that this offering is replicable and can be scaled nationally across SA. And so from an engaging partners point of view, Chris and I hold and manage the majority of these relationships, in addition to Setu, who's our Chief Commercial Officer, and Yari, the CEO, who you met on that day yesterday, right? Yeah. So we prize each and every one of these relationships. It's really, really important that you adhere to what we ask of you when it comes to partners. The loss of a partner could mean the loss of funding for 20 students. It could mean the loss of stipend. It could mean the loss of placement opportunity. So when we ask you to do a thing, We're not just doing it because we're being pedantic or trying to be bureaucratic. It's part of how we build relationship with our funders. So it's really, really important that you engage with them in the ways that we ask you to. One of the things that they require from us is a bunch of documents. So I know the ops team is probably already on you or will be about collecting a series of documentation. Usually they for a variety of partners, for a variety of reasons. It has an impact on the learnership registrations that we are doing because those are some of the agreements that we have. Tax implications, business implications, compliance implications. So when you ask for documents, it's not because we just love to collect pieces of paper or whatever the case might be. It's just really important that you submit the right thing and you submit the right thing on time to the right place. So yes, I might have given you this talk. I don't need to see the document. I'm not the one who requested it. If Kelia requested it, you make sure Kelia gets it when she needs to get it. So the submission of documents is really important. Accurate completion of forms. We trust that you guys know how to do this because you're here, but we do find errors along the way, which really set us back and have us doing QA for too many hours on end. So please don't spell your names wrong or forget your ID and submit it. Those things have happened when we complete forms and we have to just go back and forth with students, which takes a long time because you're not the only cohort we're working with. So really attention to detail is something that's really, really important, and make sure that you meet the times, the deadlines. Half the time people miss the deadlines because they're not checking the emails. So please make sure you're always in tune with where's the communication coming from. Is it email? I don't know what people use outside of Slack now. Midgets. That thing. So make sure you're checking the different platforms so that you're receiving the right information. And please ask questions if you're not sure. You'd rather ask questions, get that discomfort out of the way so that you can produce the right thing for whoever's asking you. The other thing, is please, we know that information is available because Google is a beautiful thing. Do not contact sponsors directly because you're not the ones who hold the relationship with the CEO of AMSA. Yeah, you guys. Okay, so please give her the courtesy of communicating what needs to be communicated. If you have a question around a sponsor, a document, a contract, an agreement that you have to sign, direct it to Chris or myself. If we're the ones who asked for it, direct it to Keeling. It's just really, really important so that we can manage. There could be an influx of queries that we could then consolidate and we can have a meeting with the partner to address them, rather than them hearing from 500 students from Within Code. It's not a good look. And also, you don't know what the negotiations have been that ended us up with a partner that we have. So we'd rather not put you in a situation where you also can't answer the questions that they have. So anything or any questions that you have around a partner, please make sure that you address it with us and then we'll take it forward with partners. Same goes for when you're placed as well. There's certain conversations that we would rather handle on your behalf because we know what the various agreements are with the different partners. But I'll let the placements team also handle that one. And at all times, we ask of you, which Chris already alluded to maintain professional behavior. Anyone can walk into a Within Code campus and you don't know who they are. Are they the person who will hire you in the future? Is there someone who's going to interview you in a few months? Is there someone who's looking and seeing whether they want to sponsor another Within Code campus? Do they want to add a little more funds to our coffers? You don't really know. So at any point that you are representing Within Code on site, please be professional because it also bodes well for our relationship with CJC. If you guys are professional on site, when we have partners here, engage them within the context of why they're here. They could be here to also speak to you about the work that they're doing. So we ask you that you participate in those forums as well, because that also is showing up and showing that you appreciate the opportunity and that you've also got something to get. Okay, so I think that's basically all I wanted to share. Does anyone, even the South Cape folk, anyone have any questions they'd like me to address? Or Chris, because he's still online. Sure.
I have a question. I'm not sure how to word it, but also because of maybe lack of information. But saw some time ago that Amazon is basically like there's a hub and stuff in South Africa, right? Is there no social obligation for Amazon within South Africa, one, in terms of employment that they need to have within their space since they are in South Africa. And two, as we think of is VP heading in the direction of maybe partnering with Amazon or not, since they're here. Yeah.
Oh, trust us, we've already engaged Amazon. We can't speak to their social obligations and their willingness to hire as yet. We have worked with Amazon, and Chris, if you're still online, I think to talk about the elective that we co-created with them. So they're we I think believe in more of an ecosystem. So working together where we can with different companies, and Amazon was definitely one of them. I think even before they landed, at least. So Chris, do you want to elaborate on that one?
Yes. So I'm not going to touch on what Rue said, but what has been quite nice throughout last year was we partnered with a company called Coda, who are an affiliate of AWS. And through their partnership, we've been able to build out a cloud elective that focuses quite heavily on the content that Amazon teaches and uses. That puts you in good stead then to write the certifications once you've gone through that cloud elective, should you wish to go through that cloud elective. I won't touch on it too much as well, but we've also partnered with companies to build out our other electives. So you'll see data engineering is with Spatial Edge, blockchain is with the Blockchain African Group, our QA is with systems verification, and then mobile development and systems integration is with Wilderness Software Company. So although we don't have direct relationships or partnerships with AWS per se, we do work quite closely with them to maintain the contents that we are teaching you throughout the program.
Thanks, Chris.
So contracts are from 10 February to 31 June. There are steady days in June.
Okay. They're from what now?
From 10 February to 31 June next year.
Oh, yeah, 30 days is due. Why did you say sign it without asking? I'm joking. So I don't know if I'm. Yeah, it's a typo. So thank you for raising it. We can probably go for details that you have. Yeah, it was a typo, but it's the 30th of June, which yeah. Super. Any other questions or anything from South Cape side? Sure.
Any questions?
I will take that as a no. Thank you so much for listening to me. I don't know.
Don't leave yet. Let me see if there's anything. Yes. Are there any questions from South Cape?
Yes.
Okay. What's up? Ronaldo?
Yes. Jay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, you can.
Yes.
Okay, so one
Ronaldo. Ronaldo.
yes, our network is quite bad here, but one of the student asked, yeah, oh my God.
Yes, what's the question, Ronaldo?
Yeah.
One of the student asked if if the placements will be limited according to the funders for the public TVETs.
One of the students asked if
So the question is whether the funders for the placements would be limited to the funders. So no, so sorry, no. The funders for the TVET campuses are funding strictly tuition, stipends, and facilitated accommodation. The placement session hasn't happened, right? Yeah. So the placement session will.
We just did with you.
Oh, right. With placements in general, the relationships are built with various companies over time, and so there is a pool of placement partners that we think Code works with that are not necessarily linked to who funds your tuition. Sometimes they do, but in this case, that's not the case. So you will find out where your placement opportunities are closer to the time of placement, and they won't be limited to who funded you for the program.
Fantastic. Is there follow-up? No.
No, we're all good. Thanks. Thank you.
Any other questions on the side? Okay, fantastic.
With regards to, because I had information that you can get placed with people that are not funders or partners of Weekend Code. You guys also like kind of keep track of what the student is doing with that company, because I mean it's still a product of Weekend Code, and that's still kind of what.
I can answer. Yes, I am. If I heard you correctly, do we still keep track with you even if you're on place with someone? Okay, so yes, we do. That's why we ask for that transparency. If you do find your own placement opportunity, we're forever want to know what you are doing, because essentially you are our alumni now, and you become our connection to new and existing or new opportunities out there. So I'll definitely check in with you to see how you're doing. How has your first month of work been? And towards, if you do inform us how long is your internship period, then if I am aware, just before your internship period is about to end, I'll do a check-in with you just to ask, all right, have you heard any feedback as to whether or not you are being absorbed or you're not going to be? And if in that case you don't get absorbed into that permanent placement opportunity at that position, then you come back into the placement pool. And then while you're also trying to find another placement opportunity, we're also looking for a placement opportunity for you. So you're forever our alumni. I'm always stalking. You will find out I stalk you guys on LinkedIn. Once you create your LinkedIn profiles, you'll see somebody from Within Code viewed your profile. That's me. So I always want to know what you guys are doing. I hope that answers.
Nothing else for Ru? Ru came all the way from Cape Town. No? Before 2 questions. Yes.
Please let it not be about the question. Yeah.
It's not yet.
Is there at all that you might open into the future?
Yes, I'm hopeful. We have engaged Majuba TVET College and Nabiti TVET College. And so for us, it's a matter of whether we're able to fund, because if we don't get funding, we don't open. So right now we're on the journey to get funding, and there is a big hope that we can open this day. Actually did a site visit there last year, met with the potential campus. They have a 4IR lab that was funded by the Department of Higher Education. And so in terms of facilities, the facilities are there and they're sound and they're very excited. But until funding comes through, we won't be able to train there. We also went to, I don't know, I'm assuming you're from? Yeah, we went to see the Kula education centers, which are training young people from like 3 years old all the way up to high school using digital training methods. So you walk into their classrooms and the little kids are like learning their shapes using small iPads that have been donated by their various funders. So in terms of a pipeline for recruitment, it's something that we were also looking into, because we want to make sure that we not only have funding, but we have people who are interested and competent who are able to apply. So it might be a bit of a long game, but we're definitely interested in that side as well. The challenge is placements, so we need to continue also growing our placements for, because we don't want to export the talent back into Joburg. We want to make sure people are able to work within the region and the province.
Okay, Snell.
It's how well we do in the internship or whether we get one, or even whether we graduate or not.
No, those are your graduation and your qualification is based on your curriculum and what you complete in terms of the curriculum, the things that you need to complete in terms of accreditation.
Okay.
We trust you're going to do well because you would have passed the course for you to get into the internship.
Right. So if you don't get internship for that 4 months, why are you doing?
Why would you not want to work?
No, I'm asking if you don't get one.
If you don't get, we'll continue to try placing you because our objective is to make sure that you're placed into employment.
Okay,
So it might take
me
long.
as a student, why are you doing?
You're also looking to see are there other opportunities out there for you.
I see.
Yeah, so you go online, you find some people have landed their own internships, so you got to network and figure out if there are other opportunities. But to what Paul also said, if you get something, you must let her know. So yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I wanted to ask, so far I think I've noticed that for expansion, your model is targeting public campuses, villages. So I wanted to ask if you have such a thing in plan or in future, we will be expanding also to branch out into university campuses.
Not necessarily, because the university I think it's a conversation in the making, but there's more synergy right now with the campuses, the TVET campuses. One, again, because of the government funding. Also, we're offering a qualification that they don't already have. And so that's part of the reasoning around the TVET partnerships. With universities, it might be more around content, I think. I know there's explorations around that. But I can't speak for that further on in the future.
I think you should, but I think we record provide more content in terms of this field than some universities that are experienced in that way.
Yeah.
Things. The students that try to teach something that they should have learned in campus, but they said that it wasn't provided in the content. So I think the government also want to deeply look into that because I think surface actually looks for more skills than qualifications.
Yes.
So university offers more qualifications than skills. No offense to them, but
Yeah.
that's what I was speaking.
Well, if we look at it from a business perspective, that's what set us apart. So you'd rather refine and improve and make sure our model continues to shine so that when you're pitched against a university student, as a We Think Code graduate, we can, for lack of a better word, sell your skills better. You know what I mean? Companies do look for a combination though. So we're always refining why We Think Code students and why graduates would probably be a better hire within a particular context than a graduate. But it's up to the company at the end. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. She had.
I'll leave it to change.
Yeah, hi. What have it with a kind of long-term type of question? We never actually touched on it. I was curious about it. You mentioned it. I think it's an interesting concept. The concept of us setting up our own product and our own business model from the tenant that we have. Yeah. So I was thinking, especially from the funding and financial point of view, how are we looking into setting up infrastructure as we think of where we could use our own talent to build either our own programs or institutions rather that we can then work and make money out of. Are we setting that up? Are we thinking about it and something on the table? I think that would also go. Not everyone pay it, it can be a majority that's getting paid and all that, but also also if you think of like the talent that we have, also if we had projects that was we could work on and develop our own kind of models that bring income ourselves from the field that we have. I think that is also something we don't do.
I don't know if Sam is on the line, but she would be the best person to speak to this. But currently, We Think Code is exploring that exact model where we have an incubation hub and two software solutions that actually stemmed from graduates within We Think Code are going to be developed and refined and worked on to make a viable business out of. And so that's going to be funded locally with one of the, what is it, GD? It's a Gauteng-based funder. I forget the full name. I think it's the Department of Entrepreneurship, if I'm not mistaken. And other additional partners will be working on that. And so the goal is to create opportunities for entrepreneurially minded We Think coders who've graduated to actually have the opportunity to be guided along to develop a solution that's actually viable for market and can become something that can actually be marketable. So it is in play, and I think it also gives part of the thinking around that is that it gives We Think Code an opportunity to increase the number of earning opportunities. So in addition to our traditional ways of placement, then we also have that arm where people are able to also get a job, create a job for others, but using your own business plan and solution. The reason why we're also keeping it as an incubation hub that we're also guiding is because we want to make sure that you're guided by the right talent. So people who have been working within business tech, people who have been business analysts, people who have an understanding of market and what you need to be able to prepare in order for your solution to gain traction and to actually become something that earns. So yeah, we've sampled different entrepreneurial drives, but the challenge we've often faced was that it's too short term. So this incubation hub, for example, solutions for 12 months, which is more than you usually get, which is like a 3-month entrepreneurship, ship something, and then you're left on your own. So the 12 months give a guided opportunity for that to develop. So it's on the cards. Cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, with Unicode expand to landlocked countries instead of things.
Why landlocked?
That's why now.
Yeah. I think we're exploring it. It also depends on our capacity, as well as how that will be resourced. So it's not in the cards, but there's nothing concrete as yet. Yeah.
There was another, yes.
In funny already teaching already useful, but based on the things that we use, especially it's probably and opportunities such as different just as just behind.
Yeah.
So let's say you assume that you can find it, and then you want to reach. Well, what is your starting point?
Yeah. With Limpopo, we've actually found that a lot of our students come in from Limpopo, so they definitely look at the opportunity and are willing to relocate something to. We've been talking to Sekipune TV College, Capricorn, and Maluti. No, that's not Mopani, I think. So we are looking at TV colleges within Limpopo, and again, similar to the KZN question, should something come through, then we would land in a similar way like we're doing with CJC, on a TV campus and train from there. So that is the plan that we're looking into. And funding is the limitation, to be honest, because the model exists. We know how we want to recruit. We've been starting to look into what are the placement opportunities that we can also make sure are central to the province as well. So definitely right now the whole package is funding.
Hey. That it? Yes, from.
What is going to be the next campus geographically?
It could be there's 5 provinces, Kate. So the application that we put forward would allow us to go to the provinces with our goal as well. But again, it depends on the agreements. It could also be 3 provinces, but with 1 or 2 campuses at sites.
Any other questions? Are we all set?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Thanks. Enjoy.
Okay, yeah, we are about to wrap up now. So, does everyone have a piece of paper with them? How many of us don't have? Okay. As we're an NPO, is anyone willing to donate paper? Well, tell SARS that you donated paper. Anyone with a piece of paper they can donate. Sit down. Hello. Yeah. Let's keep it down. Just make sure your paper is small enough, same size as the others. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. As we all know, this is the last day of induction. So from this point, it gets serious, right? We're getting straight into business. We're getting straight into the projects that you will be doing. And there's any piece of advice that I'll give you, hit the ground running. Yeah, hit the ground running. Don't waste time. No, this is what we're gonna do. We have something called the memory box. I think Lonabo has it for Subcape, yes, Lonabo. On that piece of paper, be as sentimental as possible. Okay, so what we need you to write down is the main reason why you came to me. Don't tell us you wanted to learn HTML. We know you're gonna learn it. But tell us the sentimental reason. Let me put it this way. Everyone that came to Within Code was chased by different demons. And this is a reminder that I need to give you. You were chased here by different demons. If you're chased by a nice demon, good for you. But most of us were chased within code by very scary demons. Either you gonna be the first to break a generational curse in your house or in your home. Either you're gonna be the first breadwinner and everyone else has been dependent on grants and low. I'm not trying to insult anyone when I say this, but if in your house all we've had was low-level jobs and you are the first one who's going to actually get tired of sitting down and you are actually working, but you're seated and they don't understand that you're going around in your chair, but you're saying you're tired. you're going to be the first one in your family to do that. That's just an example of the kind of demon we introduce. Like I said on Monday, some of us, we messed up our fences with less funds. Our parents took us to school, but we depleted the funds because we were busy smoking happy bubbly. Some of us, we've been working our whole lives, but we've been working meaningless jobs. And now we want something serious. And in all of these things that I've mentioned, I'm talking about myself, by the way. When we say that the We Think Code program works, we mean it works. It's going to change it, but only if you allow it. Right now, you're feeling grateful, you're feeling happy that you're here, you're excited. It's inevitable that you're gonna start complaining soon. Yeah, CJC has a lot of steps. You saw them. Hey, CJC doesn't have a text. You knew about that. You saw it on your first day. Why didn't you just quit on that day? If that is your determining, if that is your breaking point. CJC doesn't have working aircons. You saw it. I was fighting it. Why are you complaining now? Right now you're feeling grateful. You want to make this work, but you're gonna forget about it. Because mind is so driving now. You are now used to things, you are getting comfortable. Okay, Nyari is driving a Mercedes, we don't have stupid guidance. Whether she drives it or she doesn't drive it, you came here to learn code. You came here to change a generational curse. Remember that. You came here because you wanted to be the first one in the family to do something meaningful. And I'm not insulting anyone when I say this. You came here because you've been depressed, you've been without a job for like 5 years or more. You came here because the highest amount that you've ever earned was 5,000 rands. And in the industry that you're about to enter, it's like not even internship level. The first salary that you're gonna earn as a developer will be a salary that a ShopRite manager dreams of getting. I'm serious. No, I'm serious. Remember that. This feeling that you have right now, that you are grateful for this opportunity, remember that. And keep that with you. If you're feeling discouraged, we are here to talk to you. My office is open. You may not see me every day at your campus, but I'll frequently be here. So, please get your pens out while we in our sentimental moods.
Is this to are you reading this or is this like oh, so when you say yeah, like a thing that
It's not a separate thing. Guys, relax. Whatever that you're writing down is not something that will be public. You won't find it on Daily Sun. It's for us, you. Sometime towards your graduation or sometime towards the time when you want to jump off, we will remind you of the demon that you said if you weekend code. Please write your username. The username is the first part of your email. please write it at the back, and then in the front you just write your sentimental page. For the South Cape guys, please do that with Lonabo, and we will see you around. Yes. Bye-bye. Thanks, Lonabo. Thanks, Wonderboy. Thanks, thanks, Homoto. Thanks, Apusinzwak. Bye.